Yeah, what he said.
Não importa.
Yeah.
Campeão.
Campeão.
Número 1, peso por peso. Número 1,
Number 1.
peso por peso.
Peso por peso.
Não perca minha luta.
Not does this mean I love you?
No, doesn't mean I love you. This is mean more important things. Não perca minha luta no canal Combate.
Nope, I don't want to say it.
Não perca
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Say it again.
Não perca minha luta
Not peca maheluka.
no canal Combate.
Neko how combate.
Combate.
Combate. Say that. Combate. Combate.
What's going on, you guys? So, it's been a big debate amongst the MMA community. Who should be number 1 pound for pound? Who's the GOAT of MMA? And with Khabib Nurmagomedov retiring, a lot of people placed him on that pedestal. They gave Khabib the title of the pound for pound, the GOAT, etc., etc. Now, one particular GOAT in MMA isn't too happy about this. Johnny Bones Jones. He isn't too happy that Khabib Nurmagomedov is getting all this praise and credit for doing not even half of what he's done. And a lot of people, especially Khabib fans, is kind of attacking Jon Jones. Jon Jones is fighting back. We know Jon Jones is really social media savvy. He hops on social media, he talks shit, and he does what Jon Jones usually do. And he had a very, very valid point. 15-4. Khabib only has 4 title fights. He's been around for a while now. He only has 4 title fights. Jon Jones has 15. And then when you look at the names on Jon Jones's resume, really there's no comparison. Let's take a look at it. Now, when we compare the resumes when it comes to Khabib and Jon Jones, Jon Jones's resume is extremely impressive. I mean, he's been a pro since 2008. And as we all know, usually when you first starting off, in a regional circuit or whatever, you may not fight nobody that, most people never heard of. But Jon Jones in his 8th fight fought Stephan Bonnar. And Stephan Bonnar was one of the guys that helped UFC reach that mainstream status. And yeah, he manhandled Stephan Bonnar. Then from there, he went to fight Jake O'Brien. I remember Irish Jake O'Brien back in the day. Matt Hamill. He was an Ultimate Fighter guy. That's the only loss on Jon Jones's record, but it was a fight where he was winning handedly. I mean, dude was getting dominated, and Jon Jones made a rookie mistake back then, and he hit him with the 12-6 elbow, and he got disqualified. So that's his only loss, is disqualification. And then he went on and fought Brandon the Truth Vera, who I think still right now to this day is the ONE FC heavyweight champion. I'm not sure if he's still a champion right now. Brandon Vera been around for a long time. And I remember back when Jon Jones fought Brandon Vera, that was supposed to be Jon Jones' first real test. Brandon Vera was on a tear. He went from heavyweight, then he went down to light heavyweight, and we thought he was going to be wrecking shop down there because he'll be fighting guys more close to his size. But Jon Jones went up in there and just got him up out of there. In the first round, KO, okay? Then he went and fought Vladimir Matyushenko, a veteran. Stopped him. Then he fought Ryan Bader, submitted him in the 2nd round. I mean, Ryan Bader, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but he is currently the Bellator's champion. I think light heavyweight, right? He might be heavyweight too or some weird shit like that going on. So Ryan Bader is still doing big things today. Maybe not on a UFC level, but he's still running stuff over there at Bellator. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be kind of late on that news, but last I remember, Ryan Bader was the champ over there. And then he fought Mauricio Shogun Rua, right? Now, we all know, us longtime MMA fans know who Shogun is. Shogun was the man back in the Pride days. He won the Pride Grand Prix. He was the dude back in the day. I was a huge Shogun fan. Him and his brother, Shogun and Ninja. Y'all remember them? Yeah. Jon Jones fought that guy. It was his first title fight. He beat him in the 3rd round, just destroyed Shogun. And back in these times, I was very... I didn't really like Jon Jones back then. You know what I'm saying? Like I just didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I was just feeling, it was back in 2011. So it was a long time ago. And I just didn't like Jon Jones around that time. I was a big Shogun fan. And then he went and fought Quentin Jackson, submitted him, big Rampage fan. See, I was a Pride guy back then. So I was kind of shitty when I seen all my Pride dudes getting manhandled by this young kid named Jon Jones, And then he beat Rampage, who was also a champion. Then he beat Lyoto Machida, the karateka, the guy that, kind of took the sport by storm with his unique approach and his unique style. Went submitted my boy Lyoto in the second round, just put him to sleep brutally. Lyoto was on a tear, maybe except for the Shogun little fight he had with Shogun, who was a really good matchup for him. But other than that, Lyoto Machida was the man, and another champion, and John Jones put him to sleep. And then he fought another champion in Rashad Evans. You know what I'm saying? Who was a former teammate. He beat Rashad by 5-round unanimous decision. One may say at that time during that fight, John Jones kind of didn't want to hurt his former friend. You know what I'm saying? John Jones, to me, in that fight back then, I felt that John Jones was kind of carrying him. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of just like he could have really ended Rashad. It was just a huge, significant size difference. Rashad couldn't even get nowhere near John Jones to even land a punch. And John Jones kind of just coasted with him, And then he fought Vitor Belfort. We all know who Vitor Belfort is. He's a Hall of Famer, MMA legend. And he was on a tear at one point in time. And Vitor Belfort fought a really good fight, almost submitted John Jones. John Jones didn't tap. That's when we seen John Jones, first sign where we seen John Jones' heart, his toughness. And Vitor had a nasty armbar on him. John didn't tap. Got him up out of there in the 4th round with a submission. And then he fought Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen did a good job of marketing himself as the bad guy. And, he got Chael out of there in the 1st round. Chael Sonnen really wasn't a light heavyweight. It was just I think it was a short notice fight. I think Chael kind of came in and played. I can't remember the storyline back then. But, yeah, Chael Sonnen, the guy that gave Silva a really, really tough fight. Y'all remember him, right? Then Alexander Gustafsson. This is the fight where I became a John Jones fan. This is when I officially became on the John Jones bandwagon because I needed to see this guy fight somebody that had the size and the reach that can compete with him. And he showed me that he had the heart of a lion and he was super tough. So that's what made me be on board with John Jones because I needed to see that type of fight from him. He won a 5-round unanimous decision against the tough top contender Alexander Gustafsson. Gustafsson was not John Jones's resume is just ridiculously good. Every name on here from his championship reign on up, is a familiar guy. Then after that, he fought Glover Teixeira, who arrived to the UFC pretty late, but he was a big name in the other circuits. And once he finally got there, John Jones, he was doing good now recently, but John Jones beat him back then. Unanimous decision, 5 rounds. Then he fought Daniel Cormier, one of the MMA GOATs, in my opinion. Beat him by 5-round unanimous decision. Then he fought Ovis St. Peru. It wasn't his best performance. I remember that fight. He got a W there. John Jones has been so consistent. It's almost criminal to not put him above anybody in the sport right now. And then, of course, his last 3 fights. Of course, he beat Gustafsson in the rematch. He beat Cormier, but it turns into a no contest because of the failed PED test. And then from there, he beat Gustafsson by KO, fought him in the rematch, beat him this time handedly, looked phenomenal in that fight. Then he fought Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, and Dominic Reyes, where he didn't look necessarily too great. He got a split decision win against Santos. Reyes, a lot of people arguably felt that Reyes won that fight. And Anthony Smith, we felt that he should have got him out of there pretty early, but he went to a 5-round unanimous decision. So John Jones, in hindsight, he may be kind of slipping a bit. And there's a lot of asterisks over his career as to why a lot of people probably don't want to put him on the pound-for-pound list. There could be other factors too. Certain people just got to do more. And when you look at John Jones' resume, his career as a whole, the dude has been, almost perfect, other than a few little hiccups here and there that he's been having outside the ring and stuff like that. But John Jones, 26-1 with 1 no contest. We already know that loss really is a 0 because, he was beating that guy. He beat that guy. He just got disqualified. Made a rookie mistake. 10 wins by knockout, 6 of them by submission. You know what I'm saying? John Jones has been pretty consistent as a fighter could possibly be. Now, when we look at Khabib's resume, Khabib, as we know, is an undefeated fighter. And that's extremely rare in the sport of mixed martial arts for a guy to go undefeated. But when we look at his resume and... oh, man. A lot of these dudes' names I can't pronounce. Of course, Khabib became a pro the same year as John Jones, 2008. His first win was against a guy named Vusalov Bayramov. He won by submission. It don't even really say what round it was or anything. Let me see. Yes, it does. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, it does. It say it was round. It was probably round 2. Yeah, round 2. Okay. So Khabib's resume. Okay, we could start from where the names started to get familiar. A lot of these dudes, all the way up into 2000, from 2008 to 2012, we don't know any of these guys, right? But when we get to Gleason Tebow, that's when the names started to look familiar. And he won that fight by unanimous decision. A good name. Gleason Tebow was a really, really big lightweight. I remember him. I'm surprised that guy was able to make that weight back then. Then we got Thiago Tarves. I remember him. He won by KO. He wasn't really, Then we got Abel Trujillo. He won by unanimous decision. I remember him. Brazilian. But I mean, Pat Healy, unanimous decision. Rafael Dos Anjos, who had a really up and down run. He was a pretty good fighter, Rafael Dos Anjos. But I mean, God, it's hard looking at his resume, honestly. Then we get to Daryl Horcher. This was 2016, and he won by KO. Who is this guy? I've never heard of Daryl Horcher. Then we got Michael Johnson. I know who Michael Johnson is. A solid lightweight contender, been around for a while, can give anybody a tough night. He won that fight by submission. I mean, then he fought Edson Barbosa, who now is campaigning at featherweight. He beat Barbosa by unanimous decision. He beat Alacuenta by unanimous decision. And then his last 3 fights, which been against the most popular guys that we all know about, is Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje. All title fights, all 3 of them won by submission. Now Alacuenta, it makes you question how good that guy really is, because he went to decision. It was a title fight, and it went to decision. Khabib only has 4 title fights, people. 4 versus John Jones' 15. John Jones got more title fights, more championships than Khabib has fights in the actual UFC, because Khabib is technically, he's 13-0 in the UFC. He's 13-0 in the UFC, but overall his whole career, where he was fighting in Dagestan or Russia, he's 29-0 overall. But when you look at his UFC resume, it is nowhere near as impressive as John Jones's. It's just nowhere near impressive. It's almost hard for me to really comfortably put Khabib over John Jones. I don't think I could do that. When you look at John Jones's resume now, a lot of people may say it's because of John Jones's past, the asterisk over his career with the PED test and things of that nature. That's what makes it tough for John Jones. And he's just pretty upset over the whole situation altogether. Like, dude, I worked this hard, and this dude just asked to be put on the pound for pound list, and he gets it, and y'all demote me after all I've done. So John Jones is pretty upset, but he should be expecting this type of thing, considering, but he says it does nothing but motivate him now. It motivates him. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It'll be hard for me to, put Khabib over John Jones. When you compare the resume side by side, John Jones's resume is just, nobody else could top that other than GSP. Okay? GSP is the only other guy with a lot of names that was really, really solid names. Kamal Solaris, like, come on, bro. I remember him, but that's the only guy. I meant to start from him other than Gleason Tebow, but other than that, man, Khabib didn't fight nobody, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's no comparison, okay? It's just no comparison with the resumes. John Jones is the MMA pound for pound. I'm sorry. I mean, we can't just take that title away from him. He's been as consistent as ever. He fought how many title fights? I mean, look at the resumes, people. I mean, now I know people may not want to put him on there because of the asterisk that surrounds him. But if we take that away, right, and look at John Jones' career as a whole, there's no comparison. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.